Kit Kats can read. Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome to another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a review and book talk on Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, which is the first book that is in the Throne of Glass series. Now this is a review and a book talk, but I'm going to be talking non-spoilers for the first part and then moving on to the spoilers, but I will let you know when. But this way, those of you that have read this book, I can discuss with you what I thought about certain events that happened in the book, and also for the beginning part, for those of you that haven't read it, maybe I can try and persuade you to give this book a read if you haven't done already. For those of you that haven't read this book, I would advise that you don't look at the comments down below in case people do comment on spoilers that happen during the book. So don't read the comments down below. Just simply, if you want to type a comment, just type a comment, which is luckily enough it's the first little box you see. You don't have to look at the comments, just post a comment. But honestly guys, down in the comments, please respect each other on your opinions and all that, and please do not spoil each other. I know this is going to be like a spoiler part, just like what Christine does, but I don't want people to get spoiled if they have yet to read the book. So first of all, I'm going to start with the main plot of the story. If you don't know what this book is about, then you must have been living under a rock, or you know, if you discovered BookTube only just now, then you know, it's kind of understandable. But basically this book is about an assassin, and she is called Celaena Sardothien. Now she is caught and she basically has to enter this competition as the king's champion, and she's in a competition with among other assassins as well. And so if she wins this competition, then she has 4 years to serve under the king's assassin in order to gain her freedom. So that's basically what this story is about. Now, talking about the characters now, Celaena Sardothien, she is very kick-ass, she is very strong, she is just one of those girls that you admire. Just, she is so good. Like, I completely adore Celaena so much because of her strength, and because how quick-witted and how smart she is, the things that she comes out with, how she deals with stuff. There is a bit of romance in this book because there's the prince's guard, so there is a bit of romance going on, like friendship and all that. But what I liked about this story is that it didn't take over from the main story. Like a lot of these sort of stories, you get a bit of romance and it takes over from the whole story, and just like really, like the story is a lot stronger than that, and Sarah J Maas did a fantastic job of making sure that the romance did not conquer the story. And then we have the character Dorian, who is the prince, and everybody, I'm sure, who reads this book completely falls in love with him, swoons over him, and is just like, my god, I am jealous of Celaena right now because he's just swoon worthy. And you do get moments where you'll see like things that he does, like from his little perspective of what he does, and as he goes around, and you just see how he feels and that, and you can't help but fall in love with him. I've fallen in love with him. He's adorable. I love him to pieces. And then you've got Kale, who is the guard, and he is the one that's sort of like the protector. He's like the best friend of Dorian, and he's kind of like arrogant at first, but then you just soon go under the seams of him and just you fall in love with him as well, and you find that he's just one of those like really cool best friends to have, and just adorable at the same time. So it's just like and then you sort of get into the position of like, who do you pick? Like, do you prefer Kale, do you prefer Dorian? And it's a very tough situation because you like them both because they're both likable. And then you obviously have the king, who's a bit of an asshole, and you're just sort of like don't really like him. There's more to him than it seems. Like you could just tell when you meet him that you're just sort of like, there's something quite not right with him. And there's various other little characters as well who are like the other sort of assassins. You also have a character called Nehemia, who ends up being a really good close friend of Celaena, and she's pretty damn cool as well. She's cute little girly girl, but you soon might learn to like her. And then there's Nox as well, who ends up being another good friend of Selena, and I really like him as well. Like he's pretty cool. But the other characters, guys, you will learn throughout the book, so I don't really want to go into too much of that, but those are just like the main characters that I would like to talk about. So the non-spoiler part, I would just say that I adored the story. I thought it was really good. I mean, the storyline in itself, you know, being in an assassin competition and, you know, to gain your freedom and all that, it was really good. I really enjoyed the storyline. Just there's dark secrets, there's just mysterious things that start to happen during the competition, and it kept you on edge. Now the chapters in this book are fairly short as well, which made me feel like I was flying through the book. Now this book actually only contains just over 400 pages, which, you know, when you look at it like this, it doesn't actually seem a lot. And you know, when the first time I actually read this book, I flew through it. I flew through it. Now this is actually a reread for me, and I enjoyed it so much the second time round than I did the first. In fact, somehow enjoyed it even more, but I just think it's really awesome. I think that Sarah J Maas has written her characters really, really well. She's developed them all to have their different personalities. No character is alike, and they're all different, and they're just full of so many characteristics that you just have so many emotions for each and every one of them, that no matter what event that happened in the book, I was feeling some sort of emotion. And for Sarah J Maas to actually achieve that, she's got to be pretty damn good in her writing, and her writing is fantastic as it is. As a first book in a series, this was just flipping amazing, and honestly you can understand why it is a major actual fantasy series. I actually recommended this series to one of my friends who normally reads adult fantasy, and he started reading this book and he found that he was really enjoying it. He was reading more than he should because he was targeting himself to read about 50 pages a day, and he ended up like going over his target each day, and he was just finding he was really enjoying it. And he is a guy, so just to prove to you that this isn't just a girl series, guys can read this as well. So all in all, I loved this book as a first book. Can't wait to go on and reread the second book. Just really good. How this first book ends, it makes you want to continue on with the next book anyway. So in the end, guys, I gave this book 5 out of 5 Kit Kats. I definitely recommend for you to pick this book up if you haven't done already. So if you have yet to read the book, then I suggest you end the video now and come back when you finally read the book so that we can discuss your thoughts and feelings on it, because I'm now going to go into the spoilers of the book. So during the book, obviously we've got the champion trial that happened. Assassins are being killed off one by one, which was just as entertaining as it is. We've got Nehemia, who is Selena's best friend, and then Selena finds this secret passage downstairs, which I found like really interesting. Like I really liked that, like as she was delving further into this passage, and then finding Queen Eleanor there and learning about her. And I thought this was really cool, just to have this awesome secret that Selena was having. And then when Selena was suspecting Nehemia, now I must admit, like during the book, I was kind of suspecting Nehemia too, and this was the first time around. I was like, maybe there's something to do with this girl, like maybe something's not quite right, but then you just don't know who to expect with this book. Like I felt like maybe the king had something to do with it as well. But then when we find out that Cain is the actual culprit, now that was a bit of a bummer, because he's just sort of like the last person you'd expect, because you would think he's kind of a dickhead himself, and expecting him would be too obvious. But when it turned out that it was Cain, I was just like, really? Cain, really? So then Dorian and Selena finally kissed during the story. It was cute and it was adorable. There was nothing like special about it, because you just sort of think like, oh, you know what, they finally kissed. But then you know, like, one of them is going to pull away and say that it can't happen. When Selena got her puppy Fleetfoot, I was just like, this is so cool and it's so cute. So then Selena battles with the beast, and she uses Damaris, and she ends up getting injured, and then Nehemia finds her, and then somehow like the next few hours later, like her hand is healed. So this is where obviously we first suspect something is going on with Nehemia. And then Selena speaks to Knox, and she tells Knox that not all is to be seemed and that it's best if he leaves the competition before he ends up getting killed himself, because all of these assassins are getting killed off one by Kane, and she would rather her friend be safe. So Knox ends up leaving the competition, which, you know, I thought was like quite a nice thing, that she managed to save her friend from all of this, and he was all too pleased to leave. Although I was kind of surprised, because I swear that, you know, anybody who left the actual castle got killed, so I'm not sure like what's gonna happen there with Knox. Maybe people just don't care what happens to him. So then we have the final battle, and Selena versus Grave at first, and she obviously easily plows through that, and then she is given the wine, which we know that has been drugged by Keltane, and we knew that it was going to happen. We saw it all happen, and, you know, it wouldn't have been entertaining if she didn't drink it, to be honest. If somebody had found out straight away and been like, nope, Selena, don't drink that wine, then it wouldn't have been it would have been a very easy battle, which we obviously discovered as soon as Eleanor frees the poison out of her, and then Selena is just like boom, and then it's all of a sudden the fight is over. So you know what, something like that had to happen, because Selena is just too good. She is simply too good. So the next interesting thing is we have Kale suddenly killing Kane, because he ends up protecting Selena, because Kane ends up nearly stabbing her in the back, literally, and Kale is just like, no, boof, straight into the heart. And ever since then, Kale has just felt this guilt inside him, which, you know, is so adorable for him to have this guilt in him. This is the first person he's proper killed, and he's dealing with it so hard. And then we have Keltane, who is framed by the Duke with the poison, because obviously the Duke got the poison for Keltane to use in the actual wine glasses, but then the Duke frames her and gets her taken away. But obviously they kind of already knew about it, because they're going to end up somehow with her involved a lot later, which is mentioned at the end of the book pretty much. So then we have Nehemia finally admitting to Selena that she has helped Selena a lot. She knew about these word marks, she's got this magic and all that, and she was just helping Selena the whole time, and that just makes me like Nehemia even more. Obviously Selena feels guilty for suspecting her, but she's never really had like a friend like that before, so it's kind of hard to tell. She knows that, you know, being an assassin, she's going to have everybody like on her back and all that, so who is she to honestly trust, especially if a lot of these assassins are being killed? So what can she do? She obviously feels guilty, but then afterwards, you know, she's gained a friend at the end of the day, which is great. And I loved the banter that was going on between both Nehemia and Selena, like when Nehemia was saying about like, every time, Selena, you kept washing those marks off the floor, and it just pissed me off the amount of times I had to keep redrawing it, and I found that so hilarious. So then we have the sad part of the story where Selena finally tells Dorian that they cannot be together, because Selena's like, well, in 4 years time, Dorian, I'm gonna be free and you've got a country to, you know, rule, so I'm gonna be having my fun with my freedom. You can't come with me because like you're the prince. So she pretty much straight up tells Dorian that they can't be an item, which obviously to us is like, no, why do this to us? But then you know that it's going to be so hard for both of them, because they both kind of like each other. But then there's this thing, because like Kale comes into the room and then they embrace, and it's just sort of like, obviously something's gonna happen between Selena and Kale, because there's a bit of a you know, a bit of a thing going on there too. So it's just like, okay, so something gonna happen with Kale. Don't know until the next book, really. And then the story ends with Selena basically saying to Kale that she doesn't want to know what her first mission is, tell her tomorrow, which is how the book ends. And I was just like, oh yeah. Now when Selena was getting drugged, I just want to say I was so annoyed. Like when I was reading it, I was really annoyed that she got drugged. I could feel the anger coming out of me. Throughout the book, I did have this feeling that Nehemia just seemed like there was more to Nehemia than it seemed. Like she was holding back, like she was more powerful than she seemed to be. And I knew from the moment that she was drawing the word marks that I was just like, what are you doing? You're either helping her or you're helping Cain. And I was just like, this is the moment where you discover like about Nehemia. Is she good or is she bad? The bit that I liked was when Nehemia was explaining to Selena how she helped her, which was good of Sarah J. Maas to do, because that way we got to understand how things happened, how things worked out, more about things. And just from reading this whole book, I'm not confused about anything, about any of the land, about the names of people, about the names of things, about how things are done. I'm not confused whatsoever. Like sometimes in fantasy novels and, you know, in dystopian novels or sci-fi novels, when there are like new things, you can end up being confused because you just things aren't explained enough. And by doing this through Nehemia explaining like how she did stuff and how things work, like with the word marks and the magic and all that, it was executed really, really well. All in all, guys, I'm so satisfied with this book, and I know it's a reread for me, and I'll be going on to Crown of Midnight and doing the same, doing a review and a book talk on it, where I'll go into the spoilery parts as well and talking about more of my thoughts and spoilers. I think I should do this a lot more often actually, because I've been holding back on it, but you know what, I'm adoring it. Just rereading these things again, and there's a lot that I don't remember from Crown of Midnight because again it's been a few years since I've read that, so it's nice to refresh my thoughts on it. Just to let you guys know, I've started doing these spoilery notes in the front of my book, just some pointers of everything that happened in the story. I'm going to stick it in the front of the book, so if I don't want to reread the book, if I don't have the time to reread it, I can look at the spoilery notes, the main things that happened in the story, and then that way I'm done. I can remember everything that happened. I can be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. So I just think, you know, just to let you guys know, that is how I'm going to be doing this now, especially with the reviews. And also when I've been doing book talks, I'm going to be writing on notes on like my thoughts, what I get annoyed at and that sort of thing. So yes, guys, that is the end of my review and book talk of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, which is the first book in the Throne of Glass series. Like I say, I'm going to be doing one on Crown of Midnight as well, so stay tuned for that and more of my thoughts. Please do let me know if you have enjoyed this sort of video, if you'd like to see me do more of these videos on other books, if there's a specific book that you would like me to read, review and do a book talk on, then let me know down below as well. But I hope you enjoyed it. Please do let me know if you have enjoyed it, because I want to know if it's good for you. And have an absolutely fantastic day wherever you are. If you have read this book and you stayed on to the end, then please do let me know what you thought about the spoilery bits that happened in the book. Keep smiling, keep reading and be happy, and I'll see all of you wonderful people in my next video. Bye!